Okay, look at that. We're doing another Before the Curtain Goes Up. And soon I'm going to be at the Whistler Film Festival doing some speeding and rollings. But right now, we're back in the theater and we're talking with two veteran actors doing a veteran play about a veteran. How about that? And we're talking with Damon Calderwood and Chris Robson. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good.
And,
Fantastic.
and you're doing the Billy Bishop Goes to War thing again.
Yes, indeed, we are.
Perfect for Valentine's, just Valentine's Remembrance Day. Not at all, but not at all appropriate for Valentine's Day, or maybe it is. Um, now, first off, let's talk about this show. Billy Bishop's a Canadian hero.
Sure is. One of the old, long forgotten, maybe it's by some,
None of
but
you have anything to say with it.
for those who have a nose for the books on World War One, he will never be forgotten. And hopefully, as we keep doing the show, a new generation will remember and learn about him and not forget.
I,
Nice.
I got to add to that, David. I'm a bit embarrassed that I really didn't know who Billy Bishop was, because my association with the name Billy Bishop is the Billy Bishop Legion
Mhm.
in Kitts Point here in Vancouver, where, years ago I would go with friends after we played sort of indoor floor hockey type thing. We'd go have a pint at the Billy Bishop. And I always thought that was just some generic name for
Mhm.
a Canadian Services
Yeah.
Legion Hall. But in fact, he really was a significant chapter in Canadian military history. And more than a chapter, in the play, it refers to him being a symbol to the free world.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And in particular, there's an interesting sequence about the morale of the troops, because the war was a very bloody and long drawn out war. And the folks back at home, whether it was in Canada or in Britain or any of the other countries fighting against the Austro-Hungarian Empire, they needed something to boost their spirits and to feel, there's a chance that we can win this war and not just
Mhm.
get slaughtered, which was the
Right.
case for many.
Mhm.
Right. Now this is a musical or musical review, I guess, written by John Gray. Is it like songs from the period, or he's a composer, so did he write songs for this?
Why don't you take that one?
Okay, well, so in the pre-show, we usually have 15 minutes before the show where I'm playing at the piano songs that were popular songs between 1912 and 1918, including several songs that were specifically themed about World War One. Just off the top of my head, one comes to mind, which is Over There, which is
Oh
an
yeah.
American song
Over
that was
there.
over there. You got it. That was once America decided they were going to join the Allies. We're going over there. We're not coming back till it's over there, right? Another one of those songs was Keep the Home Fires Burning.
Hmm.
And so John Gray's music is a very interesting blend of, he kind of harkens to the music of that era, but it's still quite modern. It's got some very kind of rock and rollish elements and more swing elements to it.
Well, yeah, and I would think modern 1970s, though, right? Because isn't that when
Sure.
the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to bear in mind too that in the mid 70s, North America had had its fill of war with the Vietnam War and then the Cambodian War. And so there was already a very strong anti-war element in North American society by the time that John Gray and Eric Peterson got together with this idea to write this play about Billy Bishop. And it is not a glorification of war by any means. It is an awakening of, all the ideas that the young men had before heading overseas on
Right.
cattle ships. Not, there was no 5 hour flight. It was a very arduous and dangerous
Mhm.
journey just to get over to Europe. Once they got there, they had no idea. They thought it was going to be glory and fun, and the reality set in pretty quickly.
Right. You made me suddenly think of the planes. I did a Canadian Peacekeepers tour, and the planes got progressively and progressively more rugged until we were finally in one where there was no seating and no insulation. So the
Oh.
sound was incredibly loud, freezing, and we were balancing on things, and we were like, "Oh, this is the one that the soldiers fly in. Like this is not for the dancers and the comedians."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, there is a flight class below economy that's called military.
Yeah.
now, is this show like how is this show structured? Explain this, Damon. What are we going to see? Are we getting a history lesson? Are we getting a musical? Uh, uh, uh,
Well,
what?
a little bit of everything, but I would say the biggest way that the show is structured is first person storytelling, as Billy Bishop narrates his own adventure with all the characters, male and female, and everything in between, uh, telling the story with him. So I have a lot of moments where I'm, you know, talking to myself. And then I break into song when things get, either very melancholy or very happy, or something in between. And so it's I guess you could say it's his journey through his life, from about 1912 to about 1987, the end of
Wow.
1917. Yeah.
Now, why are we doing?
No, I forgot.
Yeah.
Uh, we end up in 1941.
Ah, there you
Very
go.
end. Yes.
There's
Yes.
a-
Sorry about
Yeah,
he jumped.
Billy
Yeah.
Bishop is called back into service not as a warrior, but he's the
Air
air
Marshal.
marshal for the Canadian
19
Air Force.
World War II, he was the Air Marshal of the
Yeah,
entire Royal Canadian Air Force.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I'll add to that John Gray's approach in writing this play was he got access to the National Archives. They
Mhm.
Billy Bishop's fiance and then subsequently his wife and then later his widow, she gave all his letters that she kept to the National Archives.
Mhm.
So John Gray read through all these letters from Billy writing from the European, theater of conflict
Yeah.
and kind of pieced together a narrative through these letters. And then subsequent to the war, Billy Bishop was approached by a publishing house, I guess, to write his autobiography when he was still, 21 or 22 years
Well, it
old.
was during the war still. He wrote it at the end of 1917, and then he was promoted to major and sent back and ended up in charge of his own squadron in 1918. And they had to pull him off the line again because he loved flying and killing Germans so much. And they were worried that he'd get shot down like the Red Baron did. So, yeah.
Because he
It's
would
an
become a
interesting
he would
thing.
become a prize. He would become the Moby Dick for the enemy because they're
A
like,
huge prize. Oh, he would have been monster.
You got
Yes.
it. Just like the Baron von Richthofen, the Red
Yeah.
Baron
Yeah.
was really everybody wanted to kill him, shoot him down, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's an interesting thing that comes up in the play is that once Bishop's exploits have become well known, through the media, well, essentially the newspapers, right? That they realized, well, we can't risk him dying. He's a
yeah,
hero. We want him to survive the war so that young men will also say, well, he survived. So I'm going to go off to
Hmm.
war and I can survive and be a hero too, rather than have a beloved hero
Hmm.
die.
right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now you boys have done this show a couple of times, so you must know all the words by now.
Well, the jury's still out on that one on any given night. But yes, I kind of do. On a good day, I seem to get through it relatively.
But how many times have you done? I mean, this is a little mini tour, but you've mini toured
Yes.
the show before.
Yes. So, yeah, we opened in 2008 was the first time I did the show. It wasn't with Chris at the time. It was with Gord Roberts. And we did '08, several venues, '09, 10, 12, 13, 20, 23, and 24. So, it's been revived numerous times. Chris has been with me for the last year and a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Last
nice.
year we took it to West
Mhm.
Van, the K Meet. We took it to the Evergreen Cultural Center in
And
Coquitlam,
Chilliwack.
and Chilliwack, and
Uh,
also to
uh,
Vancouver
Nanaimo.
Island University in
Oh
Nanaimo.
yeah, Chilliwack I did with another piano player named Angus Kellett. And we did Maple Ridge as well in April with Angus Kellett. So Chris came on board around September of
So,
23.
So now is this a two-act musical or is it like a 90
Two
minute?
acts. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Because I was just now thinking of Julia's show Jake's Gift and going, oh, this might be a
Right.
companion
Lovely
piece.
show.
That's just the two. It's
Yeah.
so very
That
nice.
show is lovely, and I've seen it, and
I
yeah,
love
it's
the show.
more of a one act. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You guys aren't here to act, so it won't.
We're a full meal deal,
It'll be a
baby.
long evening to see bullshit.
Yeah,
Um,
you stock up at the refreshments bar in between.
and now, why do you think this show is relevant to people now?
Chris, you
Sure.
want to take this one?
You know, Billy makes an observation. He says, We're not making these decisions to go to war. We're following commands." And really, I think most people don't want conflict in their lives. So who are making these decisions? And so there's this kind of I'd say it isn't a hidden message, but that the power behind these decisions is the powers that be are the people that profit
Mhm.
from
Oh
war.
yeah,
And,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that's why it's timely and timeless because there's always going to be people that want to gain political power by convincing people to hate other people
Hmm.
Mhm.
or to
Oh,
fear,
I don't even know what you're talking about. All right.
right? So that
Mhm.
sort of thing, it's not in I think in human nature to be violent or aggressive, but it is something in the herd mentality of people that we're willing to follow somebody that tells us to do something violent and
Mhm.
aggressive.
I think I think it's slightly, in my opinion, it's slightly different. It's we do have an intrinsic nature to be violent, and we do our best to suppress it, and we all have to work hard to be civil and to not do that. But it's very easy to flick at that and activate it because
For
I
sure.
yeah
Human nature does have its dark side, and we
yeah
explore it a little bit in the play.
yeah
The reasons why people choose conflict, and some of the themes in the play extend beyond that to colonization and control and manipulation and other things that are behind the scenes, which is very strongly hinted at in the play. And I
nice.
love that part of it even more than the direct sort of guy dealing with conflict situation, because those themes are much more delicious, in
Nice.
my opinion.
We've had a very fascinating conversation. I'm enjoying this, but we also have to think of the people watching this and going, when does this end? What is your favorite part about this show? We'll go with Chris first. What's the part that when Damon calls you up and says, "I'm doing the show again, and I want to do it with you, Chris"? What's the part that you just go, "Ooh, this is my favorite part"?
Okay, well, I'll answer that in three parts. One, I think that this play is pure theater. It's a person telling a story, and they're telling that story through multiple perspectives. Secondly, I love getting to watch him doing his thing and how the audience responds to him doing his thing because it's brilliant. It's a performance piece. So I don't think it has so much of the political message or the sociological message is hidden under what is, I think, just an amazing performance. And then there is a moment in the play that I watch, and I can hear the audience holding their breath,
Ooh.
and it's just sublime. It's when Billy takes a solo flight for his first time, and he's holding his breath, and they're all holding their breath with him, and it's pure magic, pure theater. I love it.
Oh, nice, nice. And Damon, for you, what's when you decide, hey, I have an opening on my busy schedule. I think I might be able to do another little mini tour. Uh,
Yeah.
what is your favorite part of the show? What makes you go, ooh, I get to do this again?
I think honestly, when I get to interact directly with the audience, because I'm breaking the fourth wall all the time as Billy Bishop, and I walk into the audience, I talk directly to people, I touch people, like Like I'll shake a hand. Uh, I'll
Things have
pat someone
changed.
on the shoulder gently. I don't manhandle anybody, but I'm very gentle. But I love because they, as an audience, they're not always used to that, and I think for them to be a part of that play directly, they enjoy it too. And so I enjoy going into the audience, singing with people, talking to people in my capacity of whatever I'm doing at that moment. And I do it several times throughout the show. And I think it's a great counterbalance to the storytelling that I'm doing on the stage. I'll have this great story I'm telling, and then suddenly I break and I go into the audience, and they're like, "Whoa, he's coming in!" So for me, that's really fun because you see them light up in a way that you wouldn't normally see.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Well, one of the things that really strikes me, and I hope this strikes the viewers as well, that there's a reason why this show gets done again and again, and there's a reason why these theater companies that you tour again say, yes, please bring it back to our theater. It's not just like some old war story or anything like that. There's something much more empowering for the audience that they want to see it, because I'm sure you have people who've seen the show multiple times as well.
yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't be able to go back to the K-Meek Center, back to Nanaimo, if they weren't saying, "What? You're doing the show again? Yes, yes, yes. Please come." So, bravo to you both.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a reason why the story uh, is attractive to people over and over again. We've talked to people after the show, many of them who saw the original production at the Culch in 1978.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
they come up to us and they say, "We saw the original one with Eric Peterson and John Gray, and we're so excited to see it again." And it's wonderful to hear that.
Nice.
It's
And how
almost
great
like a
came.
fraternity,
Yeah,
or like this because literally every venue we've been, afterwards people come up and say, "We saw the original
yeah,
and we're just, this was great," so
yeah,
if you think about that, it
And,
isn't really attached to a generation or to a moment in time.
yeah,
Because as you pointed out, I think that the relevance is that war it seems to be an ongoing reality of life. It's not going to go away
yeah,
anytime soon.
yeah,
And
sadly.
and it's one person's story
Hmm.
that was just that you couldn't create a fictitious story that is as hard to believe as Billy Bishop's real life story. It's amazing because, as a
Hmm.
young man, he was a ne'er-do-well. He was a bit of a bra,
Yeah,
like a drunkard
yeah, oh, yeah,
and just like, want to have a good time and fool around in war. Oh, great, we're gonna have a great time.
yeah, because people, I think, can relate to real life heroes who are very flawed, who are real people with all kinds of pitfalls in their lives, and yet this person overcomes all of that to become to be really good at one thing.
Yeah.
He was always a good shot, by his own admission. But when you couple that with a plane and a machine gun and an enemy that you need to get, boy, he rose to the top in an incredible way, despite his drinking and all his other flaws. He was a reckless kid. He cheated on tests. He got kicked out of school just about. So it's crazy.
He crashed a lot of his own planes too. That didn't
Yeah.
help. And but again, he wasn't a particularly good
He was
pilot.
a terrible pilot, but he was a great shot.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you boys, did either of you, I digress for a moment, we do have to wrap up. This is going on way too long. But did either of you see Health the musical? Because that was John Gray and Eric Peterson's next show.
I didn't see that. Did you?
No,
Was
I
it the
didn't.
Playhouse?
I
I
didn't
saw it
see
at the
it.
Playhouse and I loved that show. And I don't think it ever got the same popularity that Billy Bishop did. I think John Gray wrote it when he himself had a heart attack scare or a heart scare.
Mhm.
And so Eric Peterson played all the characters again, but there were
Again, wow.
three other actors playing his brain, his groin, and his butt.
That's amazing.
So
That's
I
amazing.
think
his
that
heart.
looks That'll look good on the resume. I played John Gray's butt.
Yeah.
I was going to say, John Gray did a talk back after one of our matinees at the Jericho Arts Center, and he's
Yeah.
going to be
Oh,
coming to do
wonderful.
another post-show talk back at the Metro Theater on the 15th of
Yep.
November.
November
How
15th.
nice.
So
How
if you want to see a
nice.
talk back with the author who is now around 78 years old,
Wow.
yeah, he's so amazing to listen to. Everything comes out of his mouth is a story unto itself. The stuff he talks about, it's different and new every time, and I learn every time he does a talk back.
Nice. That's
If
because he's
I
a
actually ask him
storyteller.
a question at this next talk back, I'm going to ask him just how many awards have you won for Billy
Oh,
Bishop? Because
yeah.
he's
Ask him
got a whole
when does
bunch
he
of awards.
Yeah.
when he's going to remount health.
Okay.
Okay, we'll ask him that
How
one
about
instead.
You come and you get to ask that in the talk back.
Yeah.
because I thought it was a very fun show, but
Well, he's a great playwright.
yeah, yeah.
No question about that.
Well, we're so looking forward to seeing Billy Bishop Goes to War.
Yes.
One more time, playing at the Metro. Is the Metro the end of your tour, or
Yes. It's
well,
the
then
end of our little Vancouver tour. Yeah.
nice,
It's also
Lower
the end of my
Mainland?
block.
What?
Yes, this
It's
fellow lives close.
it's like 2 blocks away from where I live.
Yeah.
How wonderful! Well,
Yeah.
aren't you lucky? I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure it's going to be a direct hit.
We hope.
Oh, nice.
We hope.
Huh?
Very good.
Thank you so much, Damon and Chris. It was wonderful
Thank you,
chatting
David.
with you.
Thank
Okay.
you.